Imagine walking into a dense forest at dawn, the mist still clinging to the trees, the songs of birds echoing like whispers of wisdom. Hidden among the emerald leaves lives a story, not of kings or warriors, but of a humble monkey whose act of kindness would be remembered for generations. This is not just a fable. It is a mirror held up to our human hearts. Our tale begins in an ancient jungle where life thrived in its purest form. Birds soared, deer grazed, rivers shimmered with clarity, and monkeys leapt from tree to tree with laughter in their eyes. Among them was one monkey, small in size yet vast in spirit. Unlike the others, he wasn't the strongest or the fastest. But he carried something deeper, compassion. While other monkeys chased after fruits and competed for dominance, this monkey often paused. He would watch the ants carrying crumbs, the bees building hives, the fish leaping upstream. To him, every creature mattered. And it was this gentle awareness that would soon guide him to a choice so profound that it would echo beyond the forest. Stories of selflessness often come disguised in simple skins. The monkey was not destined to be remembered for battles or wealth, but for a single act, the gift he offered when it mattered most. And today, you and I will journey into that story, not merely to listen, but to feel. Because hidden inside is a reminder. Sometimes the smallest creature carries the biggest truth. Stay with me, for by the end of this tale you may look at kindness not as weakness, but as the greatest strength of all. The jungle was more than a home. It was a symphony of life. The tall banyan trees stretched their arms wide, their roots like veins anchoring wisdom deep into the earth. Streams of water carved silver lines through the greenery, nourishing all who lived there. Among the creatures, the monkeys were the most playful. They swung through branches, their laughter echoing like music. Yet beneath the joy, competition brewed. The strongest claimed the ripest fruits. The quickest took the safest nests, and the weaker ones often went hungry. Nature's law was clear. Survival favored the fittest. But our monkey, whom the forest called Anu, saw the world differently. He would share berries with younger monkeys even if it meant going hungry himself. He rescued a fallen bird's chick, returning it carefully to its nest. Other monkeys laughed at him, saying, "Why waste your strength on those who give nothing back?" Anu only smiled. "Because someday," he said softly, "what I give may grow where I cannot." Unbeknownst to the others, the jungle was about to be tested. A drought, long and merciless, was creeping closer. Rivers would dry, fruits would vanish, and hunger would tighten its grip. The selfish would hoard, the strong would fight, and the weak would suffer most. In the silence before the storm, Anu sat on a branch, gazing at the sun bleeding orange across the horizon. He did not know that soon, fate would ask of him the greatest sacrifice a creature could make, and he would not hesitate. The drought came swiftly. Leaves shriveled, fruits shrank, and the once bountiful streams cracked into dry veins of dust. The jungle, once alive with song, grew eerily quiet. Hunger was no longer a threat. It was a shadow clinging to every creature's ribs. One day, while searching for water, Anu stumbled upon a human. The man had collapsed near a dried riverbed, his lips cracked, his face pale, his breath faint. His clothes were torn, his eyes sunken with desperation. The monkeys, hidden in the trees, watched in fear. Humans were dangerous. Hunters who cut down trees, stole fruits, and frightened the animals. "Leave him," one monkey hissed. "If he dies, it is his fate." But Anu could not turn away. He climbed down cautiously, tilting his head at the man. He saw not an enemy, but another being suffering, no different from the starving deer or thirsty birds. The man opened his eyes weakly and whispered, "Water." His voice cracked like the earth beneath him. Anu's heart trembled. The forest had none to give, yet the monkey's spirit stirred with resolve. Without a word, he darted into the trees. He searched high and low, digging at roots, checking hidden hollows, until at last he found a tiny pool of water nestled in a rock crevice. Carefully, he cupped his hands and carried drops back to the man. Again and again he went, until the man's lips moistened and his breathing steadied. The other monkeys scoffed. Why save him? He is not one of us. But Anu knew. Compassion did not draw borders. The human's life was now tied to his own choice. And soon, the weight of that choice would grow heavier. As days passed, Anu did more than fetch water. He searched tirelessly for food, berries hidden in thickets, roots buried deep, leaves still green with life. Every morsel he found, he placed before the man. The human, though weak, began to recover. He watched in astonishment as the monkey risked his own hunger to feed him. At night, when the forest grew cold, Anu curled near him, sharing warmth like a guardian. The man whispered one night, "Why do you help me?" "I am not your kind." Anu blinked softly, his dark eyes reflecting the moon. Though he could not speak in words, the man understood. His actions were an answer. Suffering has no language, and kindness needs no reward. But the jungle grew harsher. Food became scarcer. Even the strongest monkeys fought over scraps. Anu grew thinner, his fur duller, yet he still gathered fruits for the human. His body weakened, but his spirit shone brighter. One day, after hours of searching, he found a lone fruit dangling golden from a high branch. His chest ached with hunger. His stomach had been empty for days. But as he held the fruit, he thought of the man's trembling hands, his fading strength. Without hesitation, Anu climbed down and placed the fruit before him. The man's eyes filled with tears. He took the fruit, his voice trembling. "Little one, you give me life at the cost of your own." Anu only chattered softly, nudging the fruit closer. It was more than food. It was a gift of the heart, the gift that would become his legacy. Days turned into weeks and Anu grew weaker. His ribs showed through his thin frame, his movements slowed, yet he never ceased caring for the man. But one morning, as the sun rose red over the parched land, Anu could find no more food. He searched endlessly, every branch, every hollow, every shadow of the forest. His body trembled with exhaustion. Returning to the man, he saw him lying still, too weak to rise. The sight pierced Anu's heart. He looked around desperately. And then his eyes fell upon a tree, a fruit-bearing tree he had always saved for last. Its branches stretched high, its fruits golden and plentiful. But there was a danger. The branches were thin and brittle. One wrong step and the fall could be fatal. Still, Anu did not hesitate. He climbed with all his remaining strength, inching higher and higher, his breath ragged. The other monkeys watched from afar, shaking their heads. At the top, Anu reached for the fruit. His vision blurred, his body swayed. But with one final surge of will, he plucked the golden fruit and held it close. Then the branch snapped. The monkey fell. The forest gasped in silence. Anu's small body lay still, the fruit rolling beside him. The man crawled forward, tears streaming, picking up the fruit with trembling hands. The monkey's last act had been his greatest gift, choosing life for another over his own. In that moment, the man understood. He had not been saved by chance, but by love in its purest, selfless form. The man sat beside Anu's still body, the fruit clutched to his chest. His heart ached with guilt and gratitude. "This little creature," he whispered, "gave more than kings and warriors ever could." He gave everything. As he ate the fruit, strength slowly returned to his body. Yet the sweetness carried sorrow. It was flavored with sacrifice. The man rose, determined not to let the monkey's gift fade into silence. He built a small mound of stones over Anu's resting place, marking it with leaves and flowers. Standing there, he swore, "Your kindness will not be forgotten. I will carry it forward." When he finally returned to his village, the man shared his tale. People listened in awe as he described the monkey who gave water, warmth, food, and life itself. Many wept. Others bowed their heads in reverence. The villagers began to see the animals around them differently, no longer as mere beasts, but as beings capable of deep compassion. Inspired, they planted fruit trees in the jungle, ensuring no creature would starve in the next drought. They left offerings at the mound of stones, honoring the monkey as a guardian spirit of the forest. The man himself lived with humility from that day. He helped the weak, shared with the hungry, and spoke often of the monkey whose heart was greater than any human's. And so, the story spread from one village to another, until it became a timeless tale of how a small monkey, through selflessness, transformed human hearts. Generations passed, but the story of the monkey lived on. Children were taught of Anu's sacrifice, and elders retold the tale by firelight, their voices soft with reverence. The mound of stones became a shrine. Travelers stopped to offer fruits, not out of fear, but gratitude. Some claimed that when they sat quietly near the shrine, they felt a gentle presence, as if the spirit of the monkey still watched, guiding hearts toward compassion. Anu's story shaped the way people lived. Hunters thought twice before killing, gatherers shared with the needy, and villagers planted more trees than they cut. Slowly, kindness seeped into daily life, transforming the village into a community bound not by strength, but by empathy. But Anu's greatest legacy was invisible, the change within hearts. Where once people believed that only humans could show morality, they now understood that life itself, in all its forms, carried wisdom. A monkey had taught them the meaning of selflessness more powerfully than any sermon or law. The tale spread far and wide, crossing rivers, mountains, and generations. It became a parable told in many tongues, the monkey's gift. And though names shifted and details blurred, the truth remained: kindness has no species, no boundaries, no end. And somewhere in the forest, where the trees still rustled with secrets, it was said that the spirit of Anu leapt joyfully from branch to branch, watching, waiting, hoping that each act of love would grow into another. You might wonder, why remember the story of a monkey long gone? What does it mean for us today? The lesson lies not in his size nor his species, but in his choice. In a world where survival often urges us to take more, protect more, hoard more, Anu chose to give. And in giving, he revealed a strength far greater than force. Selflessness is not weakness. It is courage, the courage to put another's need above your own. It is the quiet voice that says, "Let them eat first," the gentle hand that shares, the heart that sees no stranger in suffering. Think about it. The human in the story was saved, but it was the monkey spirit that truly lived on. How many lives were touched because of one act? How many futures were softened because of one choice? You too carry this power. Every time you help, share, forgive, or comfort, you plant seeds of compassion. They may seem small, invisible even, but like the fruit Anu offered, they nourish someone's soul in ways unseen. The jungle may be far from us, but the droughts of loneliness, fear, and hunger still exist. And in those deserts of life, someone's act of kindness may be the water, the fruit, the gift that saves another. Perhaps the monkey's gift was never about him alone. It was a call across time and space for us to live with the same fearless love. Imagine again the forest at dawn. The mist, the birds, the rustle of leaves. Somewhere in that vast green, a small monkey once lived and gave everything. Each time the story is told, it breathes again. It is retold not to mourn his death, but to celebrate his choice. A choice so rare, so radiant, that it outlived his body. An elder once said, "The monkey's body fell, but his spirit climbed higher than any branch." And so, when children hear the tale, their eyes widen with wonder. When adults hear it, their hearts soften, remembering that even in the harshest times, kindness is possible. Storytelling itself becomes the continuation of the gift. For every listener, every heart that carries it forward becomes part of Anu's legacy. The fruit he gave did not just feed the man, it fed the world with wisdom. And so I ask you, when you hear this story, what do you carry from it? Will it stay as words in your mind, or will it shape your choices? Because stories are seeds, and this one waits to bloom in your actions. The story of the monkey's gift is not about animals or humans alone. It is about the spirit of selflessness that binds all living beings. Anu's gift was simple: water, fruit, warmth. Yet in giving these, he gave something eternal, the reminder that love is most powerful when it costs us something. Perhaps in your life, you will face moments where you must choose: protect yourself or help another, take or give, walk away or stay. And when that moment comes, may you remember the little monkey in the forest who chose to give until his last breath. Because in truth, what we keep dies with us, but what we give lives on. So carry this tale in your heart. Share it with others. Let it remind you that kindness is not bound by language, wealth, strength, or even species. It is bound only by the courage to care. And if you ever walk through a forest and hear the rustle of leaves above, pause for a moment. For perhaps it is the spirit of Anu, watching, smiling, whispering, the greatest gift is to give.